We did 8, right? 9. So we're going to do 9 in the idea of 9, and then we're going to start doing, we're going to take each of them with a character of Torah, of the Bible, so that you can see, if you know little Torah, how that works, okay? So, what is that we're trying to find out with our personalities? Many things. First, we're curious about why do we act the way we act, or our friends act the way they act and they don't seem to match well with us, right? Sometimes I'm talking to Susana and she tells me, those are strange people. And I say, I wonder if they say the same about us. Because we are really different, right? And we see things different. And the reason that we see things different is because we have different lenses. The 9 personalities are our lenses. And that's how we see things, right? So one sees things more mathematically. They want to be more close to whatever they think is the truth of things. 2s are into helping more people instead of thinking about themselves. They just want to make sure that everybody's okay. That way they feel that they belong. And then number 3s, they like to be admired. They are very eloquent, and everything they do is to show, because this is the way they feel more secure. Number 4s, they want to show you what true feelings are. What is truly being in love or truly being happy. 4s enjoy showing you what you might not be thinking of. Number 5s, right? They're into they're curious about life, and they want to investigate things. They want to be the root of things. And then 6, they just want to have a family. 6 just like to be loved, and they want to love, and they want to be the center of attention, but always helping others around them. And then number 7s, right, they're into happiness, into abundance. They just want to enjoy life. They don't like suffering. Number 8s want to, be leaders. They want to, through force and through being strong in character, try to dominate their lives and lives of others. And then we get to 9. But we need to understand that the weaknesses of our personalities are as important as our strong points. Yeah. But I can talk to you about 7. So 7s are very afraid of suffering. They don't feel that they suffer as much, but they don't like to see anybody else suffering. So if somebody is crying, somebody has a lot of problems, they like to go away. You want to go away because you don't want to be part of that suffering. You will try your best to accommodate, to give, to do things with the person of all the state of the area, but if you are not successful, then you're going to run away. They are into abundance, so they might have a lot of vices. They if they get into playing video games, those are the guys or girls or whatever going to stay all night until they finish the game or at least master something. They just like a lot of vices, repetition of pleasure. So 7s love that. So they say they went to eat today, they are ready to go eat tomorrow. Another restaurant. They're not like, once in a while I like to go out and eat. No, that's what they like. You'll find them doing it all the time. That's 7s. But it's because they just don't want to feel. They're the ones who, when they were young, they felt like not part of the family, or they were abandoned somehow in their minds. That's how they see. They were the ones who knew that if the dad was upset, they knew what to do. They got quiet, they moved away. They understood how to survive a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. 7s will be like that. That's pretty much 7s. So number 9s, right? Those are we call them the pacifists. We call them the ambassadors. They are the ones who want to connect. people around them, but they do not want you to know too much about them. So they're the ones who decide that the more you don't know about them, the easier it is for them to maneuver in their lives. So they're very quiet. They don't talk as much. They can be very social, but they're witty. If they're witty, if they're a lot funny, there's because a lot of suffering inside. They're just the opposite. They're never going to show you their true selves. So they just hide with having a lot of friends, have a lot of connections, but you truly don't know about them at all. Right? They're there, but they're not. That's what number 9s are. All right? So I'll go back to them as we go down. So let's start to do what is a perfectionist in the Torah. See what character. So some of you know Torah, or Bible. Some of you don't that much. Do you know who will be a number 1 in the Torah, a character of the Torah? Who would that be? Huh. I would have thought the same thing, but no. Moshe was not a perfectionist. He would have killed them all in the desert. Yeah, but that's because he was angry. But he wasn't. He was too benevolent. Anybody else? Any character of the Bible that you can say he was a perfectionist? So let me read you a little bit and see what you think. So when we talk about type 1, their ones are model citizens, right? They're trustworthy, self-control, they're responsible, they're also ambitious, driven, they have an inner critic, so they criticize themselves a lot. Yeah, Paul. So the Apostle Paul is going to be our guy that we're going to talk about. That's the guy. That's the guy that is a genius but has a lot of issues. He never seemed to do well with the other apostles. He was always fighting with them because the apostles were not as driven as him. Peter didn't want to get out of Jerusalem. He says, I'm teaching here. I'm doing what I was taught to do. I don't need to go anywhere else. And Paul is saying, we need to go to Guatemala. We have to go there. We have to get out of here. We have to go to the moon. So that's the perfectionist in him. So let me give you the strengths easy about those ones in the Torah, and then think about Paul. Okay? So self-motivated. Very honest. Right? That's Paul. Ethical. So out of all the apostles, he's the one who gives ethics and moral values. And we use him a lot in churches, and that's why we get into a lot of mistakes. Because we use him because he's a very strict guy. And life changes. And so the letters of Paul now are hard when it comes to ethical and moral. Because we live in a different world now. Right? So it sometimes doesn't fit. Very detail-oriented. Very practical. Also value improvement. Those are his powers of number 1s. You haven't taken the test, huh? Who hasn't taken the test? You haven't?
I took it, but I forgot.
Hold on, guys. Let me see something here I can do. Come. You can take it as I speak. You can take it. You can see now you're going to be blind, and then we can move it to the next one. It's right there, ready to go. Yeah. All right. So let's see the challenges of number ones. One must overcome the misconceptions of others who may seem as judgmental, critical, and close-minded. That's Paul in many ways. He's not close-minded. He has an idea. Yeshua is coming. That's what he thought. He's coming now. Maybe the apostle told him, no, he's not coming yet. Oh, he's coming. And he never left that idea. And so everything he does is by that idea. So he wants everything quick. He thinks, that the end of the world is coming. And never asks himself, maybe not. Maybe we still have a little while here. So number ones are very close-minded. They have an idea and they push themselves to that one idea. It rules them. They must recognize the perfect is the enemy of good. What about that? What about that idea? Perfect is the enemy of good.
You get stuck if you're trying to always perfect things, right? Because you never finish something.
Uh-huh.
Or it takes longer to finish things.
Yeah.
Because too much of one thing is bad. It just excesses. Good over and over again. Seeking, and that's that.
Yeah. It's true. What do you think that means to you? If I tell you, perfect is the enemy of good. Yeah. So if I believe it's perfect, I will never get to the good. Because good is not perfect. But if I think the perfect is good, I will never see the good of things. That's why you have a relationship and you're always asking for that perfection. All the good things that person is giving you are not enough. So you never see the good because you were waiting for the perfect.
They're never happy,
Never satisfied. Never. Yeah. One must acknowledge that being good or being right will not earn the love or approval they seek from other people. So one of the ideas is the perfectionists think that by being good or being perfect, people are going to love them. And actually, I would say they will hate them more. Paul says, everybody has left me. That's what he said. Yeah. Nobody wanted him to. The only one who deal with him was Luke and Peter. That was it. Cephas and Hillel are the only two that kind of stay with him. Everybody else couldn't handle him. But you have to be careful, right, about being so critical about things. I'm telling you, you're not going to be likable. One must always look for opportunities and reasons to feel love for others. Love keeps feelings of resentment or judgment at bay. So it seems like the key to a number one is to have love. And what is love in the Hebrew idea? What is love, you think, in a Hebrew idea? What does it mean? Love.
Give to others without expecting anything in return.
Huh?
Is it that when you give to someone without expecting anything?
Yes, like that. That's altruism to the best. What else? Love is to make space for somebody else to be. The moment you criticize somebody, you're not loving them. Loving somebody is just looking at him or her and say, that's the way they are. And with all that, I'm okay with it. For loving them. I'm not agreeing with them maybe, but I'm loving them. I'm allowing them to be. So there's this mother tells me, my daughter is in Miami. She's doing drugs. I don't know what to do. I want to love them, but how can I love her like that? And I say, sorry, but that's what love is. You just have to love them the way it is. You're not agreeing. And if you can help them, you will help them. But you must love them to how they are. and number ones will try to fix it, right? For example, they might say, oh, she's not doing drugs anymore, but she's smoking cigarettes. But somebody who has no perfectionist, he will say, that's great. She's just smoking now. That's awesome compared to hard drugs, don't you think? Not that smoking is good, that's not what I'm saying, but a perfectionist will not see the good of just leaving the drugs because they're still waiting for she to stop smoking. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Paul a little bit. So somebody in your phone, let's go to Philippians 3, 4 to 8. Philippians 3, 4 to 8. Perfect. Let's read it.
Alright. Though I myself might have confidence even in the flesh, if any other man thinks that he has confidence in the flesh, I yet more. Circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, concerning the law, a Pharisee, concerning zeal, persecuting the assembly, concerning the righteousness, which is in the law, found blameless. However, I consider those things that were gained to me as a loss for Yeshua. Yes, most certainly, and I count all the things to be a loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yeshua, for whom I suffered the loss of all things, and count them nothing but refuse, that I may gain Yeshua.
Okay. So what is it saying? What did he? What when you hear it? What did you hear there? What is the first thing he says? Let me find it here for you. You guys are so quiet. Why? Huh? Let me see here. I'll do it here.
Like he's talking about his identity, like as a Jew, but then he says like that doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's what he's saying. What else is saying? Yes. Yeah. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. So look at what it says here. He says, though I myself have reasons for such confidence. If we're going to talk the talk, if we're going to measure ourselves, I am the best. That's what he's saying. If someone else thinks that they have a reason to put confidence in the flesh, I have more. He could say, I have the PhD. I have more education. I should be better than you. Actually, I am better than you. The degrees would say that I am better than you. That's a 1. That's a 1 in his best. If he says, I have more. I'm circumcised on the 8th day. That means since I was born, I did the law even though I wasn't even noticed that I was doing the law. That's how good I am. Right? My mom, my dad took me to the 8th day. Remember, he's in the diaspora, so he's outside Jerusalem. He's outside Israel. And in the outside Israel, they did not circumcise at the 8th day. They don't. They don't have. They need a temple. They had to do things in the temple. They had to come to Israel to get all this stuff. Well, he did it. He said, I was done. And he says, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, Hebrew of Hebrews. He doesn't say I'm a Hebrew. I am the Hebrew. That's a 1. You know what? And it's great because if he doesn't have that power, there's no way you and I will be here today. The reason that we're here today is because of a 1. They decided that he was like a Superman and he could do anything. He pushed. So I am not making ones less or more or bad, but for him, that's who he is. And then he goes, and to regard to the law, I am a Pharisee. Pharisee is the top of the line when it comes to observing of the law. So he tells you everything there. He's telling you, when it comes to my curriculum, I am the best. But then I bet you that somebody there was looking at him and said, yeah, but we're now Nazarenes. So, you know Yeshua now. I know Yeshua, so that makes us equal. Somebody would say that to him. And then he says, and I was for zeal persecuting the church or the community. So it says, I was even hunting you down because I thought that was the best way to serve God. And ones are going to tell you like that. Oh, I'm telling you this because I love you. I'm doing this, I want you to do it this way because I care for you. But then they're choking you because the ones want a certain way things. See? And then he says, as for righteousness based on the law. So I did it by the law. I was killing you because, the gains to me I not consider loss for the sake of the Mashiach. In other words, okay. So I know those things, you might not see as important anymore. And now we're in the Mashiach. Well, let me tell you something. Yeah. Now I am in the Mashiach. What is more, I consider everything a loss because of the surpassing work, knowing Yeshua HaMashiach as my Adon, my master, for whose sake I have lost things. So, I'm so good that I had all this, and you can take it away from me. Because now I love the Mashiach as perfect as I love the law. So actually, I'm still the best, more than you. I love more, I care more. You should be doing what I'm telling you to do because you have issues. So this is ones. This is Paul, our hero. Do we need ones in our lives? Yes. There's that teacher over there, a teacher that you found one time that you hated him the most. He probably wanted to help you the most because he was a perfectionist. He cannot tell you what to do, how to do it. Or no, that you guys had all the beautiful teachers in your life. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we know about him. So what do we need to help him with? So this is what I wanted to teach you. So if you're a one, right, you're gonna need some help. If not, you're gonna consume yourself, and you're gonna find yourself alone. And even though ones say, "I like to be alone," at the end of the day, they don't like to be alone. They want to share at least with somebody all their knowledge or the things. Okay? So let's start with how do we help a one take ownership of their own choices? Because one will say, I'm doing this because you guys are, you're not doing it well, so I'm going to have to do it. Let's go to Proverbs 19:21. Let's see what it says there. Listen.
There are many plans in man's heart, but Yahweh's counsel will prevail.
What does it say?
You can make a plan and try to do things, but the light's going to determine.
So this is how we tell a one. A one is to say, like, I know that you know, and I know you seem to know the best, but at the end of the day, it's not what you say, it's not what I say, it's what the lie says. So you're taking a little of the pressure on ones to make a lot of decisions that at the end they don't need to make. One of the most important things in Torah is to know that you're not driving anything. that you are not deciding anything. All you have to do is just become whatever is the light telling you by organically. So let me tell you a story about that. So Buddha was walking with his students, and then so they were thirsty. And so there was a river down the mountain. And so Buddha says to the students, go and get some water. So they, start carrying the buckets to go get the water. When they get down the stream, the waters are all mushy. So it's a lot of mud and it's very dark. So they know they cannot drink that water, right? It's not good. So they come back and it says, the water is not good. What should we do? But Buddha was writing and did not pay attention to them. And one says, I know, we can go to the village. There's a village about 8 hours from now. We come back in 16 hours and we get the water because we need water. Buddha did not answer them. Another one says, I know what we're going to do. We can take the water and try to filter it. He didn't answer. And like that, everybody gave their opinion of what to do with the water. In about 10 hours, Buddha got up and says, okay, go get the water. And they're like, what do you mean? The water, I told you what the options we had and you never answered any of them. Finished? All right. What number are you? You're a 9? Let's see. No. You're also number 4. That's what I thought you were. 4. Yeah.
You want me to take it back to her?
Yeah, you can put it back to, yeah. So let's see. We need to do it again. Okay. Let's see here. There you go. You can take it to her like that. Yeah, she's ready to go. So you can take it. So you have 4. 4 and a 9. What do you thought you were a 7? You thought you were a 7? What you thought you were? You were the happy person in the room? Well, at times anybody could be the happiest guy in the room, but in your nature, you think you're the happiest person that you go anywhere? No. Sevens like to enjoy life, and if you're part of that enjoyment, they'll party with you. They'll pay for everything if they have to. They don't care. That's a 7. But a 4 is more like feeling oriented, melancholic. They can feel things. They want to help. They like to help, but they help through showing you more emotion. 7s don't like to cry. They're not into that. They're into just let's have laugh and enjoy ourselves. Yeah. So I see you more as a 4, but I don't know.
Can I take it on your tablet too?
Yeah. She's coming when she'll do it. She'll give it to you. Okay, here we go. All right. So I was saying about the story, right? So then Buddha says, "Go get the water." So they go back to the river, and of course, after 10 hours, all the mud and everything were down, and the clear water was in the top. So they got the water and came back, and then Buddha says, "Who cleaned the water?" They were like, "Nobody did." Exactly. You don't have to do nothing for life, but just do it. Just wait. Just stop. you are not driving anything. Why are you stressing out? When there's nothing that you do, really at the end of the day you do. It's like you are part of it. If you allow things to flow, you see that things just go the way they're supposed to go. The more stress you get in trying to fix things, the worse things will get to you. That's, I will tell a one all the time. Stop driving. You don't have a car. You're not even driving. Why are you trying to move? Just let things go. Okay?
It's part of that's our nature, right?
Yeah.
So if that's where do we find that? How do we just that would be my question.
Many ways.
Because I get the concept. It makes sense.
Well, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. But how?
So why is that you cannot do it if you have never drove the car? Every time you fail on driving the car that doesn't exist. Why do you want to continue driving what doesn't exist? Why?
Because it's not always failed. Like I get that it's like
Tell
I
me,
get it, but in practice
tell me something you solved in your life. Give me anything. Let's see. Let's do it.
okay. It's kind of hard when you put me on the spot.
Anything you want to tell me. Anything that you solved. Any issue that you solved.
So getting a job, right? You prepare for the interview, you get everything ready, you research the company, you
Yeah.
put your diligence,
Yeah.
you get it done, and you get it.
And you got it because?
I would think because I was ready for it, prepared for it. I was
No, because if you would have been ready and one day before somebody took it, even if you were super ready, you were the best for that job, and somebody else came before you,
you were better.
no. They're not better, but that's who they thought they wanted.
Okay.
Why do you think you got it then? You got it because of your effort? Totally?
I would say so.
See, that's what the problem will start.
That's what.
Because yes, you have to prepare, but at the end of the day, do you get every job that you apply for?
Not apply for it.
Then why do you get that one and not that one? Why?
Well, okay, I get what you're saying.
No, but tell me, baby. Tell me why is that you're not getting this one, you're getting this one?
So in my head, it's because I prepared for the ones that I got versus the ones I didn't get. Okay, well, I wasn't prepared for them.
But that's just kind of like saying what? What are you truly saying there?
I'm not the one in control.
You're not. Of course, you have to put yourself in it, but at the end of the day, you're not in control in anything. You put yourself in it because you want to make sure that you get the opportunity, right? But anything you do, I don't care what it is, it seems to be because you were at the right time in the right place, or you were in the right time in the right place where you got it. Thinking that you are in control is putting that burden on you. Because if you don't get it, what happens if you don't get it? Then you're going to blame yourself. That's what I can show you that one of the number ones are self-critics. They criticize themselves more than anybody else. Huh? Right? So they say, I wasn't prepared, I wasn't good enough. And you might just say in a job, I wasn't prepared. But if you're really, really negative, you can say, I'm dumb, I am a loser, I never get what I want. And you can go that path. But that verbally saying is because you want to be in control. But if you're like a 6, a 7, and 8, you're going to get the job. Lo que se perdieron los cuates. I'm going to go next for the next one. I don't know. There was not like I'm in truly control of things. That's in relationships. That's with money. Like investments. If somebody tells you in investments, I'm in control of my investments, you laugh. He's just exactly in the right time, in the right place, and things go. Yes, you prepare yourself. And that's why you're so good. If you're a perfectionist, you probably are the one who prepares the most. But you never always get what you prepare. Not always, even if you prepare. So why is it? So how do we change that? How do we change that one? What do we need to do for you, or not you, but whoever one is, at number one, be less stressful?
Like you make the plan, you take action, and then you let go of the result.
You have to have a more balanced mind or brain in this case. You have to be harmonized, because number ones see black and white, black and white, black and white, black and white. That's what they see, right? And most of things are what? They're gray, right? So this is what I'm telling you. It's like your life is good enough for you to enjoy it, but because you're waiting for that perfection of that thing that doesn't come, you are not enjoying the other things that are perfect in your life. So that was the question I was telling you, that perfect is the enemy of good. Does that make sense? So there's many ways to do it. I would use, if I was a one, I would use my discipline to work on me. Because ones could be very have a lot of discipline on what they believe. Ones are like the Che Guevaras, the Castros, those guys that they got the idea. That idea I told you at the beginning. Paul had an idea, because we're talking about Paul, right? Paul had an idea. What was his idea? God is coming. Yeshua is coming now. So, because he's coming now, I need to save you. I don't want to. Oh, yes, you want to. That will be his thing. Let me show you, and he will force you to get it, because he felt that idea. So, what is your idea of your life? That's how I start. You're a one? Okay, you're a one too, right? Well, you think you're a one? Probably. Yeah.
I'm a one, but stress, that's a 7.
Yes. Of course, because you see that. You do too. You could be a 7 too. Yeah. So, what is your main idea of your life? That's what I would talk to a one. If I was interviewing Paul, that's how I would understand why he wants to go to Spain. You know, he went to Spain. I mean, he was everywhere because he felt that idea. And nobody really challenged him on that idea. Seems like it. Or he didn't allow it, I guess. So if I tell you what is your idea of your life, that's where your root is. If you can be more flexible about that idea of your life, you might stop trying to drive your life that you don't have a car to drive with. Because the 9 people of the personalities are in a boat. But the ones think that they drive in the boat. The 2s are helping fixing the boat. There's no reason for fixing anything, but the 2s would think that the 3s are showing the boat around, how good the boat is. The 4s are singing about the boat. The 5s are thinking, what kind of motor this boat has? The 6 says, wow, all my family is here in the boat. Number 7 says, there's party in this boat. The 8 says, I am the captain of this boat. And number 9 says, hey, we're just all here. Let's connect with each other. We're fine. But nobody's riding the boat. Nobody's doing the boat. The boat is doing by itself. He's just going. All right. So let's see. So that will be my advice, mi amor. If your number 1, 2 is, what is your idea of life? What is the idea? What is the main thing that drives you? And you'll see that is the key to become more flexible. Who do you criticize the most? Yeah, this is simple. What do you hate the most? That's part of the idea. What do I hate the most? And whatever you hate the most, that goes for all the personalities, is who you are. So when somebody is like, let's say you're not messy, let's say you're not because one could be messy too, but let's say you're not a messy one, right? And you criticize that. Oh, that person. Oh, let's say, he's dumb. Well, that is a reflection of you feeling dumb. That's how you start knowing. It's called projection, right? What number are you? A ver. A ver, ¿qué eres? Number 20. What? Yeah, you're number 9, yeah. True, right? The quiet one. She's here. She likes to, socialize, connect people. But who knows who she is? And a 6, that's good. 9 and 6. And then a 2. That's good. Okay, you want to do yours then? Let me just connect you again here. Where is it? What happened? Hold on. We'll get you right here. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Ready to go. Okay, so let's continue with the ones. So that's the question I would ask if I was a 1. So this is another question that ones have in personality. So ones in the personality, right, they feel responsible for things, even though they might look very not responsible. So we're going to read something in Galatians chapter 6, 4 and 5. So Galatians, right? Galatians 6, 4 and 5. Who's going to read that one? I'll read it. Hold on. Galatians 6. Okay, so here we go. Ready? So number 1s feel like everybody should be better. And they try to perfectionize to themselves and to others. So this is what Paul says about this when he's thinking about this. He says, each one should test their own actions. So perfectionists want everybody to do things a certain way. They get very irritated when people don't do what they're supposed to do in their minds. But Torah says that everybody should take care of their own. That's why judging is not a correct thing to do. Judging is probably one of the greatest pit that you're going to fall and really be unhappy. So you should even judge yourself. Does that make sense? So there was this guy, right? There was this rabbi who heard that somebody in the congregation was talking bad about him, but he didn't know who he was. So he says, okay, I'm going to put a custom and I'm going to figure out who it is. So he got into a taxi driver, but in those times, an old taxi driver, horse. He's not looking like the rabbi. So this guy goes in, and the guy says, "Oh, see," and it was one of his congregation. He says, "I'm gonna see if this guy is the one." So the guy gets in, right? So they're riding, and he says, "Hey, do you go to the congregation Be Shalom, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's, oh, you know the rabbi there? Yes, I know the rabbi. Says, you know, he's a bad rabbi, huh? He wanted to see if he would be the one. The other guy look at him. You know, he's pretty a thief, huh? He steals money from the congregation. And he, you know, he doesn't even study. He's a really bad rabbi. The other guy looked at him and then grabbed him from the neck and he threw him into the ground and was going to hit him. And then the rabbi says, oh, no, relax, it's me, I'm the rabbi. And he says, oh, Rabbi, I'm so sorry. And the rabbi says, you know what I learned? That I cannot even speak bad about myself. That I cannot, that's against the law, even judging my own self. And that's what one does, right? So when I talk about criticizing, is that. So the number one thing you need to do here in Galatians says is to each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone. So if you're going to fix something, if you want to improve something, it's for you, and you should be happy about you improving you. Do not look at anybody else. Like your life, because you criticize your life. Don't criticize your life. Life is a river. Are you going to tell the river where to go? Are you going to tell them stop moving? Can't. So don't even pay attention to the river. Just pay attention to what you're doing. And he says, without comparing themselves to someone else. So, number one, because they were like perfection, they compare themselves to other things. I should be like that. I've been doing this. I should be in that area. I deserve that. But I told you from the beginning, you're not in control. So you're not going to get the job sometimes that you do deserve, that you did train for it, but you were in the wrong time. Somebody got it before you. In your sample, right? Yeah. So one more, because number one could be very resentful. What is resentful means?
Hold a grudge or like remember.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
So if you mess with a one, he'll remember you forever, and not in a nice way. That could be everybody, but ones are very known for that. So let's see what we can do for them. We can say here, Torah says about them like that. So I'm going to get Ephesians 4, 31 to 34. This is the idea, resentment. I was telling that to the congregation about 2 weeks ago. And I know you guys are young and you guys are not parents. But I was telling them this resentment is something that we all have about people and about things. For example, if we were honest as parents, honest, I'm telling you, most of us as parents, we love our kids. We will die for them. We will care for them. We will give our lives for them. But because of that, we are resentment against them. Because our lives changed when they came into the world. And they changed our lives. And we had plans. We have plans. We wanted to do some things. We maybe travel, get a career, I don't know. But hey, you guys came. And even though we will love you very much, and even though we will care to the end, if we are really clear in our minds and in our hearts, there will be some kind of resentment. And it has to go away. If not, you're always thinking that. And it comes out in different ways. That's why when you guys grow and you become kind of adults, we fight like different. Because now you guys are like little kids anymore. So I can punch you now different as an adult. And you can punch me too, right? So the true us came from both sides. So Torah says, you need to recognize that we have resentments about things, about life. And the people that we feel sometimes has stopped us to get what we want. You might get resentments from your parents. Oh, if they would have been more this way, if they would have worked harder to give me a better education. You can say a lot of stuff. And that's still resentments. Does that make sense? So let me tell you what it says in Ephesians 4:31 to 32. It says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. That is describing number ones. I'm going to say it again. Number ones, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. That's it. That's what you are. Brawling and slander. What slander means? Thank you, Rico. And brawling? Brawling. B-R-A-W-L-I-N-G. Brawling. Brawling. Fighting. Along with every form of malice. Be kind. So if I was speaking to you, because I don't know what you are yet, but it seems like you're one, but right? So this is what I want you to know, that Torah is very direct. It's not embarrassment. This is who we are. And we need to be confronted with those things. Very few people will confront you. And the people who do, they don't do it well. They do it with anger. But if we do it with love, you should care about that person because they take the time to tell you the truth. Truth is good for you. Inconvenient, but it's a good thing for you. So if you're a number one, right? It says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as the Mashiach, Elohim, forgave you. So, we were talking about how to change to being a perfectionist. You have to have more compassion. When you can get the compassion is for number 4. Be more true to your feelings. Really feel your feelings. Because you're not feeling your feelings. Number 1, don't feel feelings. They perfection feelings. They do not feel them. I have a new patient that I had him about 3 years ago. You know, all-American soccer player, very, very good kid, handsome and everything. And he was with me for 10 sessions. And we had a good time together, but he never showed me his feelings. You know, he did it. He went through the program and it was good. So this time he went to the machine. He came to the Echo Brain, right? And by the 3rd session, he feels sad. And I said, you're doing so great. What? Yeah, because all that stuff that happens to you, you have never felt it. Now you're feeling it. True feeling. He's crying. He says, you're doing well now. Now you're ready to move on. You must feel. Number 1 can go to 4 and feel it. Don't go to 7, because 7 is your escaping place. Party. That's the party place. And that's good, but that's not where you're going to fix yourself. You're going to fix yourself by feeling things.
No, you're not talking about being vulnerable. Is that what you mean by feeling feelings?
No. Vulnerable is a resistance of a feeling. Empower. More than vulnerable. Empower. If I can feel my sadness, I empower the sadness. I can handle it. But I have to feel it. By resisting it, now you are becoming vulnerable to that feeling because you don't know it yet. Unknown is the gate to suffering. I mean, you guys are young and hopefully your parents live forever, but when your parent goes away and you have to feel that and you can go through that, you'll get empowered by it. And you'll wait your turn. But if you don't go with that, right now that your mom is alive and your dad's alive, you're a little anxious because you don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm way older than you, and I have my mom, but I don't know. It had never happened to me. So when it happened to me, talk to me later on. I can tell you if I'm in power of it. I'm going to be hurt. I'm going to be suffering, probably. But if I go through it, I am ready to do my time. Because it's through that, through feeling that I'm empowering myself to become. Does that make sense? So no, it's not, I want you to feel it in your body. Okay? All right. I'll see you next week. 4:30. You guys have